Hi, my name is Kim Lithgow. I'm the CEO and founder of Same Love Toti. We are doing a project called Dala, Ikusasa, which means build a future in Zulu. This time we're doing the fourth episode. The fourth episode is a parents' talk aimed at parents who have LGBT kids or any adults or teachers or counselors that come across LGBT youth. And this will help to deal with the challenges that you would face. So I'd like to welcome you all here today. My name is Kim Lithgow. I am the founder and the CEO of Same Love Toti, which is an NPO that caters to the needs of LGBT, their parents, families, friends. And we are doing a project at the moment called Dala Ikusasa. Dala Ikusasa means build a future in the Zulu language. So we are doing these videos to help people gain confidence and live more rewarding lives. Okay, so thank you for coming. And today we're going to do a parents' talk for parents who have LGBT kids or friends or extended family or teachers or counselors, anyone who might come across an LGBT youth in their circle, because, you know, we aren't sort of islands. We are all connected to all of the people that we come into contact with. And when we create a safe and inclusive environment for our kids, that's when we raise healthy children, confident children, children who are able to achieve the best that they can and really go forward to have a bright future for themselves. And that's what we're aiming to do. So we are going to be creating that safe place, that safe society for our children to be growing up in. All right. First of all, no one ever has to tell a parent to love their child. Everybody loves their kids. The moment you find out that you're pregnant, you're excited, you can't wait to meet this little one, and you have high hopes for this child. I know I'm about to become a grandmother for the first time, so I am super excited. And yeah, I just can't wait to meet this little one. We have high hopes. We're thinking, well, maybe they're going to get married, have kids, have a great, you know, a career. And we have all of these ideas for our kids, what they might go through when they grow up. But then we start to prepare. We start to prepare the nursery. We prepare for the education. We prepare for a good home for them. So we start working towards this. And then one day a child comes and says, "Mum, I'm gay." And suddenly the whole world seems to implode, because this isn't what we've planned for. Nobody knew that this could happen to us. So we don't know where to start. We have no experience. From the time this child was born, as parents, we know what to do. We know what to do when they go to nursery school. We know what to do if they face bullies at school. We know what to do if they have a math problem. We know what to do because we were kids once and we know what to do. So we can give them advice, and suddenly we can't. Suddenly we're like, oh my word, I don't have any personal experience with this. And my parents, who I usually ask for advice, they wouldn't have any experience with this. So where do I start? Where do I start? Well, first of all, like I said, no one says love your child because you already love your children. And here's your child in front of you needing your approval, needing your support. And that child, 9 times out of 10, has been grappling with this for ages before they even dared to speak the words, before they dared to come and bring this news to their parents. But they would also have been researching. They would also have been talking. They would also been trying to find out more. A lot of the kids go on the internet because there's a lot of information on the internet. But sadly, there's a lot of bad stuff on the internet too. Okay? So this is why we need parents to be well informed, to have solid information. And we need the kids to be able to go to their parents and say, Mum, I need information on this. So when we first start out with the child knows a lot more than the parent, just because they've been reading about this the whole time before they've come out and said something. So as parents, all parents need to be as well informed as possible. So let's start off with terminology. Terminology. Your child has said, Mum, I'm gay. The question is, does he understand what he just said? Does he know what that means? He may well know. He may well not. He may well think this is a label that fits him. And it might for the moment, but you don't know. You don't know because labels are changing all the time. As we sit now, more labels are coming to the fore. There's not just gay and lesbian anymore. There's pansexual, and there's asexual, there's intersex, there's transgender. There's so many new labels that are coming out, all in an effort to describe the nuances of sexual and gender diversity, because it is very nuanced. So our regular kind of sort of alphabet soup, I'll just run through that quick so that we know what we're talking about. Okay, LGBTQIA+, all right? So L is a lesbian, G is a gay, B is bisexual, T is transgender, I is intersex, A is asexual. Plus means the new words that we are bringing out. The gender non-conforming, the gender neutral, the pansexual. So, and all of these fall under an umbrella of what we are going to term as SOGI, S-E, S-O-G-I, G-E, and S-C. And this is an acronym that doesn't depend on labels. It doesn't depend on if you want to label yourself lesbian or gay or whatever. It doesn't depend on that. So S-O would be for sexual orientation. And sexual orientation is only about who you date, nothing else. It's only about who you date. It's not about what you dress like. It's not about your mannerisms. It's not about your identity. Nothing at all. It's only who you date, okay? So let's take some examples. Okay, lesbian. Lesbian would be 2 adult women who date each other. So there we have same-sex parents, okay? There we have gay men as well. Again, it would be adult gay men in an adult relationship, okay? And bisexual. A bisexual person can date either a girl or a boy, all right? But then we have pansexual. Pansexual can date a girl or a boy or someone who's transgender or someone who's intersex. So a pansexual person would really just be about, look, I like you as a person, and that's all that matters. Nothing else matters. So that would be a pansexual person. But again, we're talking about adult relationships, equal relationships, where the power dynamic is equal as well. So, so that's sexual orientation. It's purely about who you date. The next is gender identity. So it's GI, gender identity. Gender identity, again, is an umbrella term describing people who might be transgender, gender neutral, bigender, okay? All of these are describing your individual identity. Who do you identify as? How do you identify, okay? And then gender expression. Now, gender expression generally it's the GI, but gender expression generally is the thing that throws everything out because it's super confusing. It makes everything look as though it's a blur. But gender expression refers only to how you behave, how you choose to present yourself to your society. Would you want to be a girly girl and dress in all pink? You know, that would be your gender expression. You're expressing yourself. Would you want to be a rugby player, kind of macho, muscles, sporty? You know, would you want to be that? That's gender expression. And everything in between. So we have gender non-conforming, gender neutral, and those would be the kids that maybe would be tomboys, okay, or who maybe wouldn't identify as either a girl or a boy. They feel just more comfortable just being a person, and their gender is kind of they just can't relate to either genders, so they just prefer to just be themselves, okay? So that's gender expression, because that would cover how you speak, how you dress, and how you present yourself. The last one, sex characteristics, that's the SE at the end. Sex characteristics. Most bodies fall into the gender binary. Most bodies typically have sex characteristics that would belong to a male body, that would be typically recognized as a male body, and mostly also the female body. Mostly the sex characteristics are typical for female bodies. But that's not the only bodies that are born into the world. So we also have bodies that have different sex characteristics that may be a combination of the binary male or female. And these sex characteristics don't just cover one thing. Because as you know, when a baby is born, doctor holds the baby up and says, got a penis, it's a boy or a girl, you know. And the thing is, it's not just about that, okay? It's not only, the genitals are not only what makes you male or female. What makes you male or female are your external sex characteristics, your primary sex characteristics, your secondary sex characteristics. The secondary sex characteristics are those that you come into in puberty, okay? And it's your chromosomes, it's your hormones. So we go into a real complicated mix of exactly what makes you male or female, okay? And like I said, not everybody falls into those polar opposites. We have blending, we have a meeting in the middle sometimes. So this is why we would rather speak about, rather than labeling people, we would rather speak about sex characteristics or diverse bodies. But typically in years gone past, it would have been a label that would have described a person with different sex characteristics would be intersex. So so essentially it would be someone similar to Caster Semenya, who has a high, although all of her other, the rest of her sex characteristics would be normally related to females. Her hormones are very high when it comes to her testosterone. So therefore, she has different sex characteristics to other people. So we have that kind of dynamic going on. So so those are the types of things that we need to be aware of. This is normally for us, most people expect the binary. Most people expect girls and boys. Most people expect straight or gay, but it's really a very diverse human race, and we want to be able to be inclusive of every person that's born. We want to be able to be inclusive of all of our children. So let's go back to the child that's just said that they are gay. The child is going through a time of discovery for themselves. They might find that one label fits them, and then they might find there's a different label later on in their life that fits them. Okay? And it really is a time of just learning more. So when they do come and say that they are gay, what they do definitely mean is that they know that they are different. They might not be able to explain it fully. They might not understand it themselves. They might be gay. They might be bisexual. They might be pansexual. They might be a lot of things, okay? But right now, all of they're saying to you is, look, I know I'm different. I don't know how, but I just know, So that's where we need to meet them. We need to meet them where they are at the moment. And we need to know a few things going forward as well. First of all, sexual orientation can't be changed. Gender identity can't be changed. So much of this can't be changed. However, our understanding of that can change. So even though we can't change our child, because a lot of parents come away from this feeling guilt. What did I do wrong? Why is my child different? How do I make him not be like this? The short answer is they can't change it and you can't change it. You can't cause it, they can't cause it. There is nothing that can change this, okay? The fact is your child is different. And that's all it boils down to. That is really all it boils down to. It's just that your child is different. Your family is now different. Your family doesn't fit into that small little box, that stereotypical box that we have, that we think families fit into. Because we live in a very diverse human race, we also have diverse families. And you've just found out that yours is different. Okay, so like I said, we know that our understanding of sexual orientation, gender identity, gender expression, and sex characteristics can change. And 200 years ago, the sort of the idea, the attitude that society had toward gays and lesbians was that it was evil. There was something wrong with you. You were sick. And you had to change because it's not normal. So those were the attitudes back then. And today, sadly, we have the same attitudes. And the question is why? Why are our attitudes still this way? Why do the majority of people still feel this way? Because for 200 years, there's been research, there's been medical discoveries, there's been so much that we have learned and we've grown to understand about this. So the question is, what have we understood? What do we know? So let's go to the experts, the professors, the doctors, the researchers, the scientists, all of those, okay? The most leading minds in this field that have been studying, dedicating their lives to finding out and learning more about this specific area. Their findings are found at the World Health Organization, okay? So in 1991, the World Health Organization declassified being gay or lesbian, meaning that they no longer consider it an illness. They no longer consider it an abnormality. What they have found is that it's normal. In other words, when I say normal, what they mean is that this happens normally. It's not an abnormality. It's not an illness. It's not something's gone wrong, okay? This person has been born like this, and it's normal. So it's happened normally, okay? Nothing caused it, nothing resulted, made like they had an illness and then this resulted, or they were abused and this resulted. No. It happens just normally. Secondly, they found out that it was natural. In other words, it happened naturally without anybody doing something to affect that change. Like the child wasn't born straight and then became gay, okay? It happened naturally. So same-sex relationships happen naturally within the scope of the human experience. And evil, that was the other thing. It's not evil in that the person is born different. It's just a variation. It's a difference of doing things. That person cannot, being different cannot make you a bad person or a good person, okay? You are the person you choose to be. If you choose to be kind, if you choose to be considerate, if you choose to be introvert, or if you choose to be extrovert, that's all going to stay the same, okay? Your relationships may be different in that you might choose somebody different to what other people are expecting you to choose, but it's not something that can make you evil. It's not something that can make you good. It is an entirely neutral aspect of the human psyche. If we just look at a few things, we're talking about diversity. Diversity exists all around us. Diversity in flowers, diversity in our fingerprints, diversity in the way we look. There isn't a single face throughout the whole world that looks exactly the same. You know, there isn't, like with left and right hand, there isn't a way you can govern, is somebody a left-handed person or right-handed. They are just left-handed or right-handed. That doesn't make them, just because they're different, it doesn't make them wrong. It doesn't make them evil. I know my gran actually was left-handed. And she, when she was brought up, they believed that being left-handed was evil. You had to write with your right hand because that was the good hand. If you wrote with your left hand, it was evil. So she would have to, every time she used her left hand, she had to put it out, and they would take the wooden ruler and smack her across the fingers. And so she learned to write with her right hand, but sometimes she still would use her left hand just automatically. So they ended up tying it behind her back. And that was how she grew up, knowing that her left hand was evil, okay? So luckily my brother, who's also left-handed, grew up where we knew, well, it doesn't really matter, you know. It's not going to make you evil if you're left-handed. And he even had, I think you even get sports equipment now, that you get right-handed and left-handed sports equipment now. So this is in the same kind of light. It's not something that makes you evil or makes you good. It just is. So, yeah, as parents, the main thing that parents need to know is what their role is as a parent of an LGBT child. First of all, like I said, no one's to blame. Don't ever play that blame game. No one's to blame, okay? Secondly, don't worry if you don't know it all. Nobody knows it all. Nobody knows everything, okay? We all are learning all the time, so learn. Make it like that you learn one thing a day or one thing a week or something, but as long as you're continuing to learn more, learn as much as you can. Find the resources on the internet if you must, or find the resources. You can come to us and we can head you in the right direction. Stand up for your child when they're bullied, when they're ostracized, when they're feeling out. Don't just allow it to be poo-pooed. Far too many teachers and adults go, oh, well, then just stop being gay, you know. Oh, well, what do you expect? You know, if someone's going to beat you up because you're gay, that's just what people do. You know, we can't overlook this, okay? So stand up for your child. Stand up for your child, because we know that online LGBT youth are the most bullied group of people. They are the most censored group of people. And they are the most likely group to commit suicide. So if we don't want that, we need to be a safe place for them. We need to be someone that they can talk to. We need to let them know that we're in their corner, okay? A child can face anything, as long as they have their parents on their side. If you're on the side of your child, that child is going to grow to be a well-balanced, responsible adult, and that's what we want. Okay, so the other thing you can do is you can get involved with your school. Go to the parents' associations, the meetings, try and join the school governing bodies, speak with your teachers, be open, be involved, be there, so that if there are any wrinkles, you can help to iron them out. You know, you can work together with the teachers, get them, let them know what your child is going through, and then together you can find better solutions for the kids. All right, so the last thing I would like to do is just share with you what some parents have found helpful for them, okay? They have children who are different, and they have learned a few things as they go along. So let's start with the first one. The first mom said, I know that I cannot protect my children from the discrimination that is directed towards them and all the people who are LGBT, but I can make sure that they feel accepted and seen in my home, and that they are connected with as many resources as possible to help them to navigate a healthy future. Another one said, I made sure that slurs and jokes about gender identity and sexual orientation weren't allowed in my presence. You can't control what happens when you're not around, but where you are around, it's those types of jokes that are hurtful for the child. Another mom said she would seek positive role models. She would scour the internet for role models that are standing up for LGBT rights, standing up for human rights, models that are raising families, same-sex parents, models that are having a positive impact on society and the world around them through their careers. So she would actively look for those people who were making great strides in whatever field they're in, and who happen to be different. Lastly, the one said, change your perception of the world. Prioritize inclusion. I consciously use language, and when the kids were young, I consciously use inclusive language. And when the kids were young, I found stories that were inclusive. Mummies who married mummies, transgender kids, books detailing the contributions of LGBT people across the globe and in history. And if there were only two genders on a form, like a male and a female, I would write a new little box and put gender non-conforming and tick that. So they made sure that their kids knew that they were accepted and that there's a space for them. And I think that that's our end goal, is to open up the minds of our kids. Let them see that this is a big world. There is a place for them. They do have a bright future. They can fall in love. They can choose their own partner. They can have children. They can have a good career. They can have friends and a home. They want a good future, and we want that for them too. Having kids changes you no matter what. We all want our kids to thrive, to be confident, to be happy. So we need to be a place where we embrace diversity on all levels. We need to say, it's okay if my family is different. It's okay. It's okay if we don't fall into that box. We're still happy. We still love each other. We still support each other. We still build each other up. We need to be teaching all of the children that these are the laws of the country, okay? All of the children need to learn that in South Africa, we have a constitution that does this, and therefore we have to fall within that constitution. So that's what we need to be teaching the children. So we need to be teaching the children, look, some people are different. You don't have to be friends with them. You don't have to even like them. But you do have to not harass them. You do have to leave them alone. You do have to, keep to yourself. So, yeah, it's really a case of live and let live. So that's what we're trying to get across to all of the children in all of the schools. Look, live and let live. You do your life over there and let other people do their own life. The law is on the side of the person who is being harassed or assaulted or abused. Okay? So we need to teach the children, guys, you can't do this. This is against the law. That's your basic thing. It's all against the law. You can't do this. So just respecting another person, that's all we're asking for. Thank you for joining us and listening to our talk. I hope it's been helpful. Please, would you like, comment, and subscribe? Just put your questions that you might have in the comments below. We definitely will get back to you. You're welcome to share this as well with your school or your friends and family. Thanks very much.